Hello, this is Alice from sewingathomemom.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to teach you how to shorten your jeans and keep the original distressed looking hem. These are the supply that I will be using, so I have all of them on hand. And let's get to it. Let me show you how to do this. First, you will have to try on your pants and decide on the length, the final length that you would like to have. So mine are already marked. That's the final hemline that I will have after I shorten them. Put them on and mark them at the back of the leg, not the front. Do it on the back. Before I remove these pins, I will make a mark on the fabric. So I will mark it the final hemline. Remove the pins. Now I will measure how much would that be. Same thing on the other side. You have to measure your hem from the top stitch to the end of the hem. So mine is about half an inch. So that final line will be shorter by that half inch because I will be sewing this back onto that part. So I will make it half an inch shorter, right, than that final line. Half inch. Before I'm going to cut, I will open the hem because I need to get access to it. So I will be cutting half an inch above that stitch, so about here. Use anything that you have, seam ripper, anything that you like. By cutting a few stitches on this side, we'll loosen up the stitch inside, and you can just pull it like that. And continue all around just like that. So once you rip open the hem, make sure you clean it. Remove any threads. Look how beautiful and distressed that hem looks like. So of course that's the original that we will be sewing back. Now, if you need to measure and mark, please do so. I'm just gonna eyeball that. These will become too bulky when I will be sewing. So there are two options. You can cut it off, or you can open them up. Okay. Open up the serge stitch, just like that. Make it flat, because otherwise the hem becomes too thick. And then this one, it's a good idea to cut some of it out. I'm gonna leave it for now. You have to make sure that these two will nicely match. So you gotta put one on one, right? Because this is how we will be sewing. That's what the hammer and wooden board is, to pound them down. And then same thing on the other side. Don't forget to separate these two. Now I will move to my sewing machine, and I will be stitching as close to that old stitch line as possible. But I will be sewing on top of here. Undo this thing, cut the thread off. So remove that. Make sure your thread matches the color of the original thread as closely as possible. The thread that I'm using, it's a rustic color, rustic orangey color. The needle that I'm using is the size 16 for denim for domestic sewing machines. Next step is to trim the inner seam allowance to keep it at about 1/4 of an inch long, and don't forget to trim the thicker parts of the seam as well. At this time, use the hammer and pound the thick areas of the hem to make it easier for sewing. Fold the seam allowance into the original hem fold and make sure the inner seams are completely hidden, and you can use pins to keep them in place. You might have to make few manual stitches at the beginning of sewing at the seam areas, at the thicker areas, to avoid a needle breaking. It's very easy to break a needle while sewing jeans, while hemming jeans. Follow the old stitch line, as I mentioned before, to make it look as original as possible. Fantastic! It looks beautiful! Hemming jeans and keeping the original distressed looking hem, it's actually more difficult than it seems to be because of the seams. If you have industrial sewing machine, there isn't really that much of a problem, but if you're using domestic sewing machine, your machine's gotta be strong. It's gotta be the heavy duty one, otherwise it's difficult. Needles easily break. That looks really good. Well, all it needs to be pressed and that's it. Perfectly done. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, share it if you know anybody who can benefit from it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.